Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Get ready to dive deep into one of the most gripping legal battles of our time. I'm your host, Jim Chapman, and today we're unraveling the high-stakes drama surrounding one of the music industry's most enigmatic figures, Sean Diddy Combs. In a case that has captivated millions, the courtroom has become a battleground for fame, fortune, and the dark secrets that lurk beneath the glittering surface of celebrity life. As the gavel comes down, we'll explore the allegations, the testimonies, and the shocking twists that could change the course of Diddy's legacy forever. Was this case merely a clash of lifestyles or something much more sinister? With each episode, I will bring you exclusive insights, analysis, and witness testimony accounts that will leave you on the edge of your seat. So buckle up as we embark on this thrilling ride through the trial of the century, where the stakes are high, the drama is real, and the truth is anything but certain. This is the trial of Sean Combs. Let's get started. Welcome back. And before we get into today's episode, I want to wish every father out there a happy Father's Day. It is Father's Day weekend, and we're going to get back into it with the trial of Sean Combs. And I want to give you a quick catch up on what occurred with the testimony for Tuesday, June 10th. Jane testified that she agreed to sexual encounters with other men during Tuesday's testimony. She said she believed it was the only way to see Combs. During her cross-examination, she described one occasion when Combs asked if she wanted him to visit her home with an entertainer, and she said yes. She explained that she agreed to the encounter because, quote, that was the only option I was given and I wanted to see my lover. The jury saw text messages previously shown during direct examination in which Jane expressed frustration that Combs was pressuring her for a hotel night while spending time with another woman who was posting about their outings on social media. In one message, Jane referenced Combs buying the other woman a Chanel bag, and during a tense exchange with Combs' defense attorney, Tina Garagos, Jane said it bothered her that other women got nice gifts and trips from Combs while she did not receive the same treatment, even when she agreed to have sex with strangers. Jane testified about a specific voice message exchange discussed during cross-examination in which she and Combs talked about seeing each other. Combs suggested that they set something up involving two entertainers they frequently used, but Jane replied that she thought he wanted to save that situation as a grand finale after he finished his album. Jane said she was actually trying to make excuses to get out of this thing and that he was encouraging her to set it up. Jane testified that she now lives in a home larger than the previous one, that she profited a little bit from the dress business that Combs invested $20,000 in. She also confirmed that Combs never asked for a share of the proceeds. When Garagos questioned her about the earlier testimony regarding her limited ability to work during the relationship with Combs, Jane said, quote, had I not dove headstrong into this relationship, I probably would have been a bit more successful in that time frame. So that was a little catch up on what occurred on Tuesday, June 10th. And I'm bringing you today, Wednesday, June 11th testimony. And Jane is back on the stand. But before she even takes that stand, some questions loomed as the judge was considering whether to dismiss a juror number 6 to be more specific. And the judge said he'll handle that issue on Thursday, the 12th, after hearing in writing from both sides. Prosecutor Maureen Comey said the government was reluctant to ask for the juror's removal, but said after a review, they found there appeared to be what she called a lack of candor with the court from the juror. Defense attorney Alexandra Shapiro accused the government of thinly veiled efforts to dismiss a black juror. So this is a very sensitive and very important thing right here. Because if they dismiss that juror, it's never good to dismiss any juror, regardless of the color of the person. But in this situation, if a black juror is dismissed, it's going to be a problem, and it's going to open up some sort of appeal opportunity for Combs' defense team. I'll keep you posted on that. Now, at this point, Jane did enter the courtroom. She takes the stand, and Geragos is resuming her cross-examination. And Jane starts off her testimony talking about the longest hotel night that she could remember. And that was New Year's of 2022. Get this, she estimated it lasted about 3 days and involved 3 men. And she said after New Year's, she saw a social media post where Combs had went on vacation with another woman named Gina. Gina has come up before in her testimony. Jane then read aloud a message she sent Diddy in January of 2022, expressing her frustration about the trip after, quote, "We had such an amazing New Year's week together. Quote, you have made me feel so taken advantage of and regretting everything." Jane testified she considered breaking up with Combs after this. So Geragos then returned to the time period after Jane's birthday in 2022. Jane previously testified that she and Sean Combs had a hotel night on her birthday. She said then she got upset after she saw Combs on vacation with another woman shortly after, and she testified that she made Combs come home from that vacation a day early. She told him, quote, "If you don't come here now, we're not going to do anything that you want to do." And you know what she's referring to with that. Geragos asked whether Jane told Combs she wouldn't have a Valentine's Day party with him, and Jane responded, "Yes, that was the first time I pulled that card." Geragos asked, "The hotel night card?" And Jane responded, "Yes." Jane confirmed that she planned a hotel night for Valentine's Day that year after Diddy left the vacation he was on with another woman early and planned to have 2 entertainers in the room at once. Jane acknowledged that it was her idea to have the 2 entertainers and said it was her first time doing that. Jane read some March 2022 messages between her and Diddy that occurred after a hotel night. Combs had recently made her delete a photo of food she had posted that indicated they were together, and then she saw Gina post a photo wearing a necklace that matched a bracelet that Combs had gifted her previously. In the messages, Jane told Combs to make Gina delete her post and accused him of giving her anxiety. Quote, "To see these things were deeply hurtful to me." Jane confirmed that she and Sean Combs went about 2 months without having a hotel night. This was in the spring of 2022, despite spending time together several days during that period. On June 19th that year, Combs suggested he and Jane should have a hotel night. And Jane responded, "Not really in the mood for that part. Don't want to make you mad." Combs said back, quote, "All good," and suggested a role play scenario instead. Jane testified they had a movie night, watching past hotel night footage and pornography. Jane read aloud messages between her and Sean Combs from July of 2022. After exchanging explicit messages, Combs texted her to call a specific entertainer and then said, "Or is Paul free?" Jane liked the message about Paul, who is one of the entertainers they frequently saw, and she testified she understood Combs was giving her an option between the two men. In later messages, Combs relayed details about the time and location of the hotel night and asked her, quote, "Is this cool?" The day after, Jane texted Combs in part, "Last night was amazing." The jury then saw more texts between Diddy and Jane from about a week later in July of 2022. In the messages, Combs suggested a hotel night with either Paul or another entertainer. When Jane told him she was kind of icked out by a boo-boo the other entertainer had, it doesn't get specific, Combs agreed that the person was a no-go and arranged a hotel night with Paul, according to the messages. Jane testified that Combs only gave her a choice between two entertainers, as though it wasn't an option to skip the hotel night altogether. Jane also confirmed when asked that she thought she recalled spending a few days just with Combs after that late July hotel night. And Jane confirmed that she and Combs had another hotel night at her home on August 30th of 2022. The next day, Jane texted Combs saying in part, quote, "That was so much fun, baby." She then sent him a long message about how much she loved and appreciated him. Quote, "My love for you is unconditional and for life." Jane confirmed that she sent these messages after a hotel night, but she testified that the feelings she was expressing were only directed at Combs. In February of 2023, Jane texted Sean Combs asking him if he could send her something for her birthday festivities. She testified she asked for $15,000 to cover buying an outfit and dinner for her and her friends. Wow. She confirmed that Combs paid for the dinner. Jane later traveled to Miami to celebrate her birthday with Combs. She texted him asking if Nobu, a sushi restaurant inside the hotel where she was staying, was the only dinner option, and she suggested they try to work out something different. She testified that she was trying to get out of the hotel. Quote, "I'm asking if he could please romance me out of hotel rooms." The jury then saw photographs of the couple actually eating at Nobu. Jane testified she went along with it when Diddy said he had entertainment planned for after her 2023 birthday dinner. Quote, "My circumstances were my options in this relationship. If I see him, there is a request for a hotel night. So I'm just adapting to my circumstances in my environment." So yes, there were moments I suggested or organized things under pressures of my lover. Yes. Defense attorney Tina Garagos then showed a jury a photo that was taken after Combs gifted Jane a Von Cleef necklace and bracelet for her birthday. Jane testified that she had just received the gifts, taken an ecstasy pill, and was waiting for an entertainer to join them. Garagos suggested that Jane took a photo because she was so excited. Quote, "Any type of affection at this point in my life that I received from Sean, I received with open arms," Jane said. She said she was happy to be, quote, "wrapped in my lover's arms" at that moment. The jury saw a message Jane sent Diddy after her birthday celebration. Now, during the celebration, Jane said she had sex with 3 entertainers in Combs. In the message, Jane said, quote, "She loved and appreciated every detail you put into my birthday." Jane testified she was referring to the gifts and the time alone with Combs. The jury revisited other text messages previously introduced by prosecutors, exchanged after Jane learned Combs lied to her and took another woman on a birthday vacation to Turks and Caicos immediately after Combs was with Jane for her own birthday in February 2023. Jane testified she was hurt after, her words, being made to have sex with 3 guys, and it was equally hurtful and emotional for me to see him with another woman on a beautiful vacation. Quote, "Whereas I'm alone and recovering from having to sleep with 3 men that I didn't want to sleep with." Jane confirmed that after the fallout over how Combs handled his 2 girlfriends' birthdays, they broke up for several weeks. Jane said when she pushed back on Combs, he'd say they should break up, but would be blowing up her phone a week later. On March 2nd of 2023, Diddy texted Jane apologizing and saying, quote, "I didn't know I was going to lose one of my closest friends over a stupid lie." In later messages, Combs said he missed Jane and wanted to see her, and Jane responded, "I'm open as friends." She balked when he offered to get a hotel for her, and he responded saying, quote, "You said friends." He then suggested going to Turks and Caicos, and they started planning their 2023 trip to that location after that. Garagos suggested Combs spent, get this, about $55,000 on that 2023 trip to Turks and Caicos. Now keep in mind, Jane previously testified that this was a makeup trip that was meant to reconnect them, and that she told Combs, "I just want us on the trip," but it ended up featuring a hotel night with an entertainer, if you'll remember. Defense attorney Garagos then pulled up a message Jane sent to an entertainer they saw frequently, Sly. And this text was of her inviting Sly with them on that Turks and Caicos trip. Quote, "Would you be available to come to Turks by any chance? You would need a passport and I think a vaccination card. Let me know what you think." Jane testified that she sent the text, but said, "I believe my lover wanted me to send the text to Sly to invite him on the trip." Jane previously testified that another entertainer, Paul, joined them in Turks and Caicos, and that Sly met her and Combs once they returned to Miami. She also had testified that she felt she had to see Sly in Miami because she believed she had ruined the hotel night in Turks and Caicos with Paul. So at this point, Jane grew kind of emotional. She paused to wipe her face with a tissue, and she read a text message she sent to Diddy in April of 2023. This is around the time she moved into that LA home that we've talked about where Combs was paying the rent. Jane read aloud the message, and it said, quote, "The fact that you are the reason for my child's joy is a feeling inside me that I can't explain. I love you so much as my friend, my lover, my boyfriend, even though you don't like that word." Garagos finished reading the text while Jane took a few seconds to compose herself. So Jane confirmed that she helped take care of Sean Combs in June of 2023 after he had a surgery, and they did not have any hotel nights that month. She testified they had a hotel night in early July of 2023. And defense attorney Garagos read aloud a text message that Jane sent Combs the day after, which said how much she loved him and how much she loved spending time with him. Garagos then revisits a time when Jane said she flew to New York, this was in August of 2023, to see Sean Combs. Jane testified about this on direct examination. The jury saw some text between Combs and Jane where she expressed that she was pissed with Combs over a recent podcast interview. In that interview, Combs had talked about a 48-hour sex session with another woman. So at that point, Jane threatened not to go to New York, but after some convincing from Combs, she went under the impression that they were not going to have a hotel night. She said when she was in midair flying to New York, Combs sent her a link to an entertainer that he wanted to hire once she got there. Jane said she responded with a thumbs up to a link for an online profile for the entertainer, and she testified that she was just confirming she saw the link, that it didn't have anything to do with the fact she wanted to do that, and that she was being a little bit sarcastic. Now, Jane previously testified she and Combs did indeed have a hotel night during that New York trip, and the jury saw a message Jane sent to Combs in the days following that trip. The message said in part, "I actually want to apologize for the list of things I was saying that were making me unhappy." She added that there was an even longer list of sweet things that he did for her. So in October of 2023, Jane and Sean Combs were arguing over Combs spending a lot of time with one of his other girlfriends, Gina. She keeps coming up, right? Jane claimed that Gina brought drama into their relationship, and she testified that Combs and Gina had a lot of public problems, and this caused Combs to bring negativity into his relationship with her. This is how she felt. She said at one point when she was expressing frustration over his relationship with Gina, that's what she terms it, expressing frustration, Combs texted her, "Girl, stop. You know I don't feed into this. I need you. You're the only thing that's going to put me at peace. Geragos asked Jane, you thought the hotel nights put him at peace? And Jane responded, yes. Jane also agreed when Geragos asked if part of what Jane agreed to, the hotel nights, was because she thought the encounters brought Combs peace. Geragos then returned to that sobriety party that we've talked about and Jane has previously testified about. Jane described the party saying it was one of the 2 times she tried not to use drugs during a hotel night with Sean Combs, and Geragos asked if Jane had agreed to that hotel night. And Jane responded, unfortunately, yes. Geragos pointed out that Jane said, unfortunately, but yet she had agreed to the night. Quote, you regret now that you agreed to it? Is that fair? Jane responded, quote, I resent him for knowing how much I loved him and how I couldn't say no to him. Geragos asked her about a few more times of regret when Jane responded each time that she resented Combs. Geragos asked, and you regret all these things, right? And Jane responded, I believe resent and regret lie in the same feeling. Jane confirmed that she felt depressed after the sobriety party with Sean Combs and tried to break up with him. She confirmed that Diddy told her that he too was feeling depressed. She testified that she then went to his home and spent the night. The jury then saw a video of the 2 of them from that night at his home, video that included both of them laughing. Combs said at one point in the video, quote, I was in a dark hole and you came here to save me and I appreciate that. Jane responded with, you did some saving on me that I didn't even know. And with that, the jury was dismissed for the day. And I got some feelings about this one. This girl has now been testifying. I think this is her 5th day. So I've got some issues with this particular witness, Jane. And you all know I'm the biggest proponent ever of Diddy needing to be in jail for all the stuff that he did to Cassandra Ventura in particular. But I got to be honest with you. This does not extend to Jane for me. I think she's a horrible witness that the prosecution has called. This is my opinion, and I'm going to tell you why. Jane's own words. And look, before we go any further, Jane, by all accounts that I've seen, is actually Daphne Joy, who is the baby mama for 50 Cent. Now, as many people know, 50 Cent has had a war of words with Diddy for years. He's always kind of clowned Diddy, and honestly, I don't think Jane has much to do with that. I think he would have clowned Diddy anyway. But let me tell you why I'm just not buying what she's saying and how it cross-contrasts the situation with Cassie. First of all, Cassie was forced, in her words, into everything that she was doing. And I think it's clear that she was. Whereas with Jane, even in her own admission during this trial, she agreed to doing these things. And let's not forget, Sean Combs paid her bills. And he had her engage in these hotel nights. Now, as a matter of fact, by her own words, he told her at one point, if you don't want to participate in the hotel nights, that's fine. You can leave, but I'm not going to be paying your bills if you do that. And that's what's known as an arrangement. And many rich people have arrangements. Let me use an example here that may or may not seem out of left field for you. But currently, right now, today, former coach of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, he's 73 years old. And he looks 73 years old. His girlfriend, living girlfriend, practically a wife, whatever, takes her everywhere. He goes on these awesome trips. She's 24. And if I'm in a locker room with a bunch of guys, we would all say she was a 10. Now, why is a 24-year-old woman dating a 73-year-old man that most people are going to say, even for 73, isn't what you would call attractive? Well, I would venture to say it's the $60 million in net worth. And make no mistake about it, Bill Belichick is a smart guy. You think he don't know this girl is with him because he's got $60 million and she doesn't want to have to want for anything? Of course he does. Of course he knows that. He's just reached an age where he's probably thinking, I got 10 good years left if I'm lucky. I'm going to spend them having fun with this young, beautiful woman. And that's his right. I don't judge him. To each his own. Whatever. I could care less as long as they're both of consenting age. But it's a similar arrangement here, in my view. Even 50 Cent has come out clowning about this and saying that she's a paid worker. And essentially, that's what she is. I mean, her own words so far throughout her testimony, y'all, was that she was excited after these freak-offs. She's admitted that she wasn't being forced into these things. She even went as far as to say it wasn't something she would say she hated, according to her testimony. But even more than that, when she was asked, why do you continue doing them? Her response, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but essentially she said, because I was financially dependent on Sean Combs. And I'm not judging that. That's fine. A lot of people do that. But what aggravates me about this girl and her testimony is that you have a real victim in Cassie, in my opinion. And then you have this girl testify who, I'm sorry, maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you agree with me. I'd love to know. But she doesn't seem like a victim to me. She comes off as someone who had an arrangement with Diddy. And then he had these side chicks, if you will. And she got very jealous of that because he was spending more money on them. And she even went as far as to say during her testimony that she would see him paying for trips to Turks and Caicos with other women, and she felt like she didn't get the same treatment. That's the same thing as saying I was pissed because he's not spending the same amount of money on me. He's spending it on somebody else, and what does that tell you? And the reason this aggravates me, that they put this girl even on the stand, is that it waters down Cassie's testimony, which was the real deal. The bottom line here for me is this was a chick that was willing to engage in all of this because he paid the bills. He's a sugar daddy. That's what he is. We've heard in her testimony so far that there were many situations where she was setting up freak-offs without him even knowing it with multiple men as a gift to him. He didn't make her. She was just doing that and then saying, surprise, I got 3 entertainers tonight for us. This is a way different situation than Cassie Ventura's, in my opinion. It was a mistake to put this girl on the stand. Now, she did prove, as they've already proven with other witnesses that have testified, the sex trafficking allegations of the indictment. Like it or not, when you pay for someone to travel across state lines for the express purpose of freak-offs or hotel nights or whatever, that is sex trafficking by the word of the law, even if that person was a willing participant. You don't have to be a minor to be sex trafficked, and you don't have to be an unwilling participant to be sex trafficked. You just got to be transported from one state to another, having that bill paid by someone that is flying you in for sex. By the word of the law, that is sex trafficking. But I'm worried, y'all. I'm worried because this is the second victim that the prosecution has put on the stand in a row that their story just does not add up for me. I feel like the prior victim that they put on lied her ass off on the stand and the defense exposed it. And I feel like this one is lying by painting herself as a victim. And the jury is seeing all this. All I can do is hope and pray that they remember Cassie's testimony at the start of this thing. I hope it's still on their mind, y'all. Because this witness right here, in my opinion, is no victim. And with that, I'm going to end today's podcast. I'll bring you another update very soon. And until next time, for Exposed Scandalous Files of the Elite, I'm your host, Jim Chapman. Much love.